Time now for ABC4 Utah's Real Sports Live.
Hey everybody, welcome to this special Utah Jazz playoff edition of Real Sports Live. I'm Wesley Ruff, joined by Mr. Dana Green, and for the next half hour, we're going to look back at what was a roller coaster of a season for the Utah Jazz. We'll break down some of their biggest wins and take a look at some of their toughest losses.
Plus, we'll take a look back at the previous two playoff series between the Jazz and Dallas Mavericks. But first, let's take a look back at Game 1, which took place yesterday in Big D. The Mavs without Luka Doncic, out with a calf injury, and they missed him. Dorian Finney-Smith trying to help pick up the slack for the Mavs. Dallas raced out to an early 7-point lead. Jordan Clarkson with a big first half for Utah. He had 10. Jazz down 3 at the end of the first quarter. What a defensive game the Jazz played in this one. Rudy Gobert with 3 big blocks. Get it out. Bojan Bogdanovic was incredible in the first half. He almost single-handedly kept the Jazz alive offensively. 20 in the half for Bogey.
Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, struggled mightily in the first half. Just 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting. That block led to a bucket on the fast break by Reggie Bullock. Mavs up by as many as 9. But Bogdanovic brings the Jazz back. He drills this 3-ball from the corner. Bogey was 11 of 20 from the field. And just before halftime, it's Bogdanovic. 3-ball. Good. Jazz up by 2 at the break, 45-43. Third quarter, Donovan Mitchell finally comes alive.
Look
the
out.
stop-and-go drive, gets hammered. He gets it to go. He was fine. Mitchell poured in 19 points in the third quarter alone. What a turnaround here. Or turnaround for Mitchell. Step back, banks it in. Jazz by 6. Down on the fast break, Bogey finds Donovan, and he throws it down.
Boom.
Mitchell has always been a great playoff performer. Coming through in the second half yesterday, so good. And how about another 3-ball from Donovan? 30 points in the second half. He ended the game with 32. Jazz go up by 8. Entering the fourth quarter.
In the fourth, you knew Dallas was going to make a run, and they did. Brunson was really good. He led them with 24 points. It's a 5-point game, but the Jazz answered every Dallas run. Bogdanovic with the clutch baseline jumper. He had 26. Utah up by 12 with 5.5 to play, but the Mavs kept coming. Reggie Bullock drains the 3 from the corner. The Jazz leads down to 2. They can't blow another double-digit fourth quarter lead, can they? Mike Conley says, so smooth, so clutch. He had 13 points. Jazz fans, though, biting their nails down the stretch. 2 minutes to play. Maxi Kleber for 3 from the corner, and it's a 1-point game. Here we go. Jazz up by 1, under a minute left. Who's going to take the big shot? Mitchell? Conley? Bogdanovic? How about Royce O'Neal? They call him Buckets O'Neal for a reason. Biggest bucket of the game. The final 99-93. Game 2 is Monday. Here's what the team had to say after the game.
It was a big make. I mean, every day I, keep shooting the ball. Shooters go through slumps, and then, just not thinking about the past, keep going to the future, and then keep thinking that everyone to shoot after that is going in. And, Don made a great play, found me, and then me just trusting myself and making it for him. If they're gonna leave him open, going ahead, taking the shot, making the right plays. And in that particular moment, he made the shot, that same shot fake slide. He's been working on that, and I've seen it 1,000 times. So happy for him, and it was great.
Really praised all over after the first quarter. Just made things tough for them. And they were very physical, and we had to match that. And I'm proud of the way we raised all up.
We out-rebounded about 20 rebounds. And there's, part of that is, when teams do go small, for us to use our strengths.
For us, it's, we did our job. We got game 1. Now we got to go out there and get game 2. Not satisfied with this one.
Well, let's talk about Game 1. I mean, it's not the Jazz fault that Luka Doncic didn't play. They got to play who's out there, and they took care of business. It wasn't pretty. It was a defensive struggle. I just love the resiliency that a guy like Donovan Mitchell shows. 1 of 9, 2 points, and then he comes back with 30 in the second half.
That was clutch. The Jazz said before this series started that they were going to do some different things. I didn't see really anything they were doing differently except maybe keeping the ball out of Mitchell's hands more than they normally do in the fourth quarter.
Especially in the fourth,
in the fourth quarter. But you knew Dallas was going to go small, and the Jazz had to adjust to that, and they talked about rotations, and they were able to adjust. And in the playoffs, things slow down, and that's why you see a lower scoring game. But I think the Jazz matched their physicality, which was impressive.
And the defense was really good. They held Dallas to 38% shooting, out-rebounded them by 19, dominated points in the paint, 50-36. Not that the Jazz really shot the lights out, but they did make those big shots down the stretch. And you know it came into the back of their mind. It's another fourth quarter double-digit lead. Is this happening again?
You could feel it, right?
And I like that it wasn't just Mitchell in the fourth quarter. It was Conley, it was Bogdanovich, and who knew? Buckets O'Neal. Biggest shot maybe of his career.
He hadn't made a shot all game long.
He was 0 for 4 before the biggest shot of the game.
I mean, takes that one, just clutch.
Yeah, no, I think that, we'll see, obviously, this series depends a lot on the health status of Luka Doncic, if he's going to be able to play. I wonder if Dallas rushes him back a little bit for game 2, because they really need to have that one.
I think they sit him, in my opinion. I think you give him as much rest as you can and bring him back for game 3.
All right, well, it's hard to believe, but in the long storied histories of these two franchises, this is just the third time that the Jazz and Mavs have faced each other in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, the first time was 36 years ago, way back in 1986. Second was in 2001, and the Jazz did not fare well in either of those series. The Jazz and the Mavericks first met in the playoffs back in 1986. Just like this year, the Mavericks were the 4 seed and the Jazz were the 5 seed. The Mavs were led by All-Stars Mark Aguirre and Rolando Blackman, and Dallas won the first 2 games on its home floor. Rookie Karl Malone averaged 27 points for the Jazz in those first 2 games. The series then shifted to Utah, and the Jazz won Game 3, 100-98, behind 32 points from point guard Ricky Green. But the Mavericks won Game 4 in the Salt Palace, 117-113, to win the series 3-1.
15 years later, the teams met again in the first round. The Jazz were the 4 seed and Dallas the 5 seed. The Jazz won the series opener at home 88-86. Danny Manning with a clutch 3-pointer for Utah, and John Stockton scored 12 points while dishing out 18 assists in the win.
Games like this seem like he really liked to step up. He liked to have the basketball, make some big shots for us down the stretch, did a lot of good things for us, played some good defense too.
The Jazz also won Game 2 at home, 109-98, behind 36 points from the mailman. They led the best-of-5 series 2-0, and it looked like this thing was over.
We want to do it. We want to get it over with. You don't want to get it 2-1, especially in a 5-game series, because, anything can happen.
And it did happen. A young Dirk Nowitzki led the Mavs with 33 points, while Utah native Sean Bradley played a big role as Dallas won Game 3, 94-91.
The Jazz, they try to control the tempo in the half-court game, and when their shots weren't going and we were rebounding the ball, then it was playing in our favor because we're a decent team in the open court.
Game 4 was never close. The Mavs crushed the Jazz, winning by 30, 107-77, behind Nowitzki, Michael Finley, and Steve Nash.
It's 2-2 now, and one game, winner keep playing, loser is at home.
Our back is against the wall just like it was the last 2 games, so we're kind of used to that. Win or lose, we're going either on or going home.
Game 5 in Salt Lake City started well for the Jazz as they took the lead, but the Mavericks battled back and led it by 1 with just seconds remaining. The Jazz had a chance to win it, but Brian Russell and Karl Malone both missed shots at the end of the game, and Dallas pulled off the upset, beating the Jazz 84-83 in Salt Lake City. The Jazz became the first and only team in NBA history to blow a 2-0 lead in the best-of-5 series twice, having done the same thing to Golden State back in 1987. Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to reverse fortune and beat Dallas in the series, which they have never done.
Jason Kidd played in that series. Now he coaches the Mavs.
All right, we have to take a quick time out here on the special Utah Jazz playoff edition of Real Sports Live.
Yeah, but coming up, we're going to take a look back at some of the greatest and not so greatest moments of the season. Stick around.
You're watching ABC4 Utah's Real Sports Live.
Welcome back to the special Utah Jazz playoff edition of Real Sports Live. Well, it was quite the season, wasn't it? Between COVID, injuries, epic blown leads, and some incredible performances, the Jazz at times looked like the best team in the NBA, and on other nights, not so much.
Let's start with the good times, though. On their way to 49 victories this year, the Jazz had some huge wins this season. Here's a look back at some of our favorites.
December was the Jazz best month of the season when they won 12 of 14 games, and their most impressive win came against Boston. The Jazz put up a season-high 137 points. Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley combined for 65 as the Jazz sank an incredible 27 of 51 three-pointers. That's 53% to hold off Jason Tatum and the Celtics in the highest scoring game of the season, 137-130.
In a season sweep over Denver, the most exciting game was on January 5th when Utah won its 10th straight game on the road, beating the Nuggets by 6. No Rudy Gobert, no Hassan Whiteside, no problem. Udoka Azubuike made his first career start for the Jazz. Bojan Bogdanovic went off for 36 points, and Rudy Gay provided a huge spark off the bench with 18 points in a 115-109 victory.
I'm just trying to be aggressive. The Mike and Donovan are looking for me as well because they can feel it that I'm in a good mood and in great shape.
The Jazz went 8-1 in the month of February, including an absolutely dominating 26-point win over Steph Curry and the Warriors, ending Golden State's 9-game winning streak. The Jazz were firing on all cylinders on both offense and defense, holding the Warriors to just 36 points in the second half. Donovan Mitchell was 2 assists shy of Utah's first triple-double in 14 years.
We really did a lot of special things out there, and I think if we just continue to play as a group, to continue to lock in communication's been top-notch from everybody on the team, and I think that's what's ultimately getting us in this position where we're continuing to put wins together.
The Jazz closed the month with 2 extremely impressive victories. First, over Dallas on the 25th. Donovan Mitchell hit a career-high 7 three-pointers and finished with 33 points. Luka Doncic matched him shot for shot, though. In what felt like a playoff game, neither team led by more than 9 points for the entire contest. But Bogdanovic hit the biggest shot of the night with a minute and a half left as Utah held on for a 114-109 victory.
2 nights later, the Jazz went into Phoenix and took down the top team in the NBA, the Suns. Donovan Mitchell and Jordan Clarkson combined for 48 points to help the Jazz erase a 14-point deficit, and they got a little help at the end from an old friend, Jay Crowder, who threw the ball away in the closing seconds as the Jazz held on 118-114.
So to have games like this, I think, tough games, close games, against teams that, are really, really good and really disciplined and play defense. Something that can help us.
March wasn't great for the Jazz, but we did see 2 of the more incredible individual performances. On the 6th, Bojan Bogdanovic set a Jazz franchise record with 11 three-pointers in a victory against Oklahoma City. Then, on the 12th, Jordan Clarkson scored more points than any Jazz player this season, going off for a career-high 45 in a highly entertaining 134-125 victory over the Sacramento Kings.
But the biggest win of the season came on April 5th. Having just blown 2 20-point leads the week before, the Jazz desperately needed a win over Memphis, and they came through in overtime. Clarkson was magnificent with some jaw-dropping moves. The Grizzlies tied the game at the buzzer to send it to overtime, but Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert saved the day as the Jazz clinched a playoff spot with a 121-115 win at home.
A week ago, we probably don't win that game, and don't win that overtime. So just the trust, the communication that we had, the intensity that we had down the stretch. It's you get a chance to win every night.
Good stuff there. But despite all those great wins and spectacular performances, probably the biggest thing we'll remember from this season is all those blown leads.
Yeah, the Jazz had 17 double-digit leads that they couldn't hold, 6 double-digit leads in the fourth quarter.
Yikes.
If they finished, 4 of those games, they're the 3 seed, not the 5. Let's recap what happened in all those close fourth quarter collapses. The first time the Jazz blew a fourth quarter double-digit lead was in Orlando back in November when the Magic erased a 10-point deficit and outscored the Jazz 32-15 in the fourth. Cole Anthony ended up with 33 points as the Magic made the Jazz disappear 107-100.
We got to make sure that's our top priority, being able to, get stops when things aren't, necessarily going in, shots aren't falling, and I think that was just a lack of focus on that part.
The Jazz were cruising in January on a 6-game win streak, up by 12 points with 6 minutes to go against the Lakers, when LeBron James took over, scoring 10 straight points during one stretch as the Jazz headed into the All-Star break with a frustrating loss.
There's no way we should have lost this game, in my opinion. That credit to them. I give credit to where credit is due, but we let this game slip in many different circumstances, and it's just we made so much progress, and to go back right before break, that's tough.
On an historic night when Greg Popovich became the NBA's all-time winningest head coach, the Jazz blew a 15-point fourth quarter lead against the Spurs. San Antonio put up 40 on the Jazz in the fourth, and Utah could not get a rebound off a free throw in the final seconds as the Spurs pulled out a 2-point win.
It hurts. It sucks. This ain't fun. I'll tell you that right now. It's not. But it starts with me. If you want to say anything and you put it anywhere and blame anybody, go ahead and blame me. I just got to be better as a leader for the group. As a leader of this team, I shouldn't have let this happen.
In one of the more epic collapses in Jazz history, Utah could not hold on to a 25-point third-quarter lead against the Clippers, the same team they lost a 25-point lead to in the playoffs last year. Paul George went off for 34 points as the Clippers put up 75 points in the second half to shock the Jazz, 121-115.
I didn't see us emotionally fragile. I saw a team that didn't do the things fundamentally that we have to do. I'm not going to focus on any, one player. I think it's, a collective effort.
4 days later, the Jazz got run over in the fourth yet again, this time by the Golden State Warriors. Utah was up 21 in the third and led by 16 with 7 minutes to play before Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole just exploded as Golden State went on an 18-0 run to win it 111-107.
We are the team that's building these leads. We're that good. We're that good team that believes that we can do that, and we just have to continue to work at the small details in the last 4 or 5 minutes of games that are causing us to let these slip away.
Then, in maybe the most disheartening meltdown of them all, the Jazz had a 17-point lead at home against the number 1 team in the league, the Phoenix Suns, and the Jazz simply folded, getting outscored 36-13 in the fourth quarter, making just 3 of 20 shots from the field. This one was probably the toughest to watch because it came in front of the home fans at Vivint Arena.
I don't think there's some sort of voodoo hex that's floating around. There isn't, maybe there's a little anxiety as those things start to happen.
When we have seasoned vets, we have guys who've been in the league 10, 12, 15 years, we'll be good. I know it sucks, and fans hang with us, man. I promise you. We all right.
They're all right. After game 1 against Dallas, I think they'll be all right.
All right, we have to take one final time out here on our Utah Jazz Real Sports Live playoff special.
Yeah, but coming up, we're going to get Dunktacular, Jamolicious, as we show you our top 10 Jazz dunks of the season. You don't want to miss this.
You're watching ABC4 Utah's Real Sports Live.
Welcome back, everyone. The Utah Jazz have some big-time playmakers on the team, and they have produced some jaw-dropping moments.
I know my jaw was on the floor more than a few times this season. Of the hundreds of dunks the Jazz had this year, we picked out some of our favorites, agree or disagree, but we present to you our top 10 dunks of the year.
At number 10, Donovan Mitchell takes a bite out of the Big Apple. Mitchell flying through Madison Square Garden and lets everyone know that he threw that one down.
Number 9, Hassan Whiteside on the right side of this jam. Look at the 7-footer with the nimble spin move and rocks the rim against the Rockets.
Our number 8 dunk, back to Donovan. The Lakers part the sea and Spida goes right down Main Street, bringing Vivint Arena to its feet with a patented Donovan dunk.
At number 7, Rudy Gobert with the offensive rebound and the massive dunk over another 7-footer, Jared Allen and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Jazz bench couldn't believe what they just saw as Rudy hammered it down.
At number 6, Bojan Bogdanovic gets fancy. Bogey throws it off the backboard to Mitchell, who tomahawks that one down. Eyes in the back of the head for Bogey on that one.
At number 5, on the break, Mike Conley to Daniel House, and he brings the house down. Wow, perfect pass from Conley. Tremendous throwdown by House, maybe the best alley-oop of the season.
Our fourth best dunk of the year was more about the pass. Daniel House gets the ball knocked loose, somehow gets it to Gobert, and Rudy jams it. Great play by House to keep that one alive.
At number 3, back to Donovan. All alone, the one-hand windmill. That generates a lot of power. Clean energy on a clean dunk. So good from the one and only Spida Mitchell.
At number 2, it's Hassan Whiteside showing off the athleticism. And are you kidding me? Look at the wingspan on this guy. The defender has no chance and gets posterized.
And our number 1 dunk of the year, Jordan Clarkson, taking it strong against Minnesota. He may be a little guy, but you can still throw him to the Wolves. JC with a jaw-dropping dunk. Jordan Clarkson with our top dunk of the season. That was awesome.
Good stuff.
As cool as those dunks were, maybe the best thing this organization has done is give out full 4-year college scholarships to an underrepresented student from the community with every single win.
That's impressive. The Jazz gathered some of those students at Vivint Arena recently, and the team shared the good news.
Hi, I'm Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz.
I'm Mike Conley from the Utah Jazz.
I'm Royce O'Neal.
Hey, I'm Donovan Mitchell.
Thank you for joining us at the arena.
We love having you here.
All of you are here today because of all the amazing things that you have done,
both at school and in the community.
Whether you receive this scholarship or not,
we know you will go on to do great things.
But we are excited to let you know that each of you
is being rewarded with the Jazz Scholarship.
You heard that right.
Every one of you here is getting a Utah Jazz Scholarship,
which covers 4 years of full tuition, room and board, books, fees, everything.
We are so proud of you and everything you've accomplished.
We believe in you and know you will do great things.
Congratulations.
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 I'm just feeling so blessed, honestly. I'm still shocked. I can't believe that.
Going home after this and telling my parents that I had a full ride to the U, they're really going to be proud of me. It means the world.
I got it! We did it.
It's crazy to think that I'm going to be able to make my dreams a reality.
We're blessing so many people's lives by doing this.
And that is now 52 scholarships,
awesome.
52 wins, including the preseason and counting.
So cool. Hopefully there's more wins, too.
Yeah, hopefully more scholarships. Let's take a look back at the rest of the Jazz Mavericks first-round playoff schedule. Game 2, Monday, 6:30 in Dallas. Game 3 is back in Utah, Thursday the 21st at 7 o'clock. Game 4, Saturday the 23rd at 2:30.
Then, if necessary, Game 5 back in Dallas set for the 25th. Time to be announced. Game 6 Thursday at Vivint Arena on the 28th. And a potential Game 7 would be on Saturday, April 30th, back in Big D.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you tonight, 10:35 for Real Sports Live.
Good night, everybody.